Hey guys, okay, I'm back with part 2. I'm so sorry, I do not know what's going on. So hopefully you can see this one. So give me a thumbs up or a little comment if you can actually hear the sound in this video. And I am going to see here if I can get this to pop up on my computer. Okay, I see there's a couple people on. Can you guys hear me? Leave me a comment so that I can... oh, okay. I see thumbs up. That is so weird. You know, who knows what's going on. Okay. So I'm not quite sure where you guys left off. Where was it that we, oh good. Carol can hear me now. I feel like those Verizon commercials. Where did we leave off? Where did you guys, what's the last thing you saw? It was on the bird. Okay. Well, hopefully you heard me talking about the sponge daubers and the ways that you would choose kind of between the two. Yeah, I hear you, technology. So when I'm going to do my daubers, I'm going to go ahead and do daubing. And when I do blending brushes, that is when I'm going to switch and use my, when I want to swirl color on, that's when I'm going to switch and use my blending brushes. Okay, so we've got our bird colored here, and we can, I would say go back and you can watch if you missed a little part of that, but clearly that is not going to be helpful with today's video. Huh, who knows? All right, so I've got my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and my plates that come with it. I'm going to take my bird die, which is from the Aspen Dies, and they coordinate here with our Perched stamp set. I'm going to set this on here, and it just barely fits. Look at that. Otherwise, I could trim it down. Not a big deal. My tip with using the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is don't bother to stack your plates. You have to stack them. Don't line them up so you're trying to enter them all into the die cut machine at one time. Sometimes you can have trouble getting the plate started, or grabbing there if you are getting them all lined up. So see how they went through kind of staggered. All right, die cut bird, here we are. Okay. All right, now I have a little cheat for you. Do you see how I didn't get my washi tape? It's pretty old. So it is going to, oh good, you guys heard the daubing, and that can be colored anyway. Including not colored at all. So let me give you my little trick here. If your die shifts a tiny bit and you want to, if it doesn't bother you, go for it. But sometimes I will actually take my snips and I will trim away a little bit of that extra margin. You don't even have to do it everywhere. Just a little bit on the parts there. They're gonna show. So see, there's the sliver that I trimmed away. So if you're like me and you reuse your washi tape, sometimes you didn't know that you needed to replace it. Okay, so there is our bird, and it is going to perch on our tree. We talked about the layer here that's going to go underneath, and you can see how that really just brings out the colors here in our bird. So let's go ahead and attach this. So I've got my Stampin' Dimensionals, which I love to use for anything that wants to pop up. And clearly our bird is on a different, different attention level than our little branch. So nice to have the bird pop up. And then we're gonna go ahead and use our seal to layer these two pieces. And that will give us that pretty layer there. Always smush from the back side. And then I'm going to flip this over and do a couple more dimensionals here. Now, actually, I left this out because this is a great chance to use the strips of your Stampin' Dimensionals from around the edges so that you are not wasting them, right? You can either cut them up and use them in little pieces, or you can use them in large pieces like this and sort of make the most of them as a shape. Let's see, I think I just grabbed the part that I didn't cut. There we go. All right, so then we can peel those off. So don't throw away those edges from your Stampin' Dimensionals for certain. Okay, so here's our, I don't know, we have a parakeet at our house. I don't know if you can hear her in the background, but she is chirping up a storm. It's kind of funny what gets canceled out of videos by noise cancellation. So, all right, So now I want to bring in our aspen leaves here, and I want something to match. I want to bring out this So Saffron ink here. So here is an organization tip for you. In my space where I store my cardstock, I store both a full pack of cardstock that I'm working from, and then I usually pull out like the little fragments of things like this, and I keep them in a page protector, just like the generic one from the office supply store, because when I know that I need something small, I like to come to here instead of cutting a whole piece. So I love to organize my paper that way, if that is a helpful tip for you. So I'm going to take this, I am going to die cut it with my large aspen leaf, and then I want an accent here with our small. And so for that, I am going to use, this isn't a very blingy card, I'm sorry, we're not gonna put rhinestones on it, but I do love to have a little bit of shine or sparkle. And so that is going to come from this small leaf that we're gonna cut from the metallic, brushed metallic cardstock. So there are 3 different colors of sort of gold and bronze in this, which makes it a really great sort of selection to choose which one you're going to use. So this happens to be the medium color. There's a lighter and a darker. And you can see I store leftover pieces in here from past projects too. All right. So I am going to go ahead and cut this with my small. You'll notice that I have this cut fairly small. When you're using your die cut machine and you have plates that are starting to get a little cut up, this is just sort of the normal, this is how they work to get good cuts. You can replace them to get clean ones, but these are a long way from needing replacing in my book. The lines on here though can mark the cardstock when you have like a metallic finish like this. And so usually I try to sort of use it in a cleaner area of the plate, or sometimes I'll even keep a plate that is like clean just for metallic, or I will just sort of chop these pieces down to be really close to the size I need instead of cutting the whole, paper through at one time. So anyway, through the magic of television, we have our 2 leaves, and here they are. So I have our So Saffron and our metallic, and these dies are really cool because they both cut and leave that veining on there. So Tanya, I can't believe you didn't know about page protectors for scraps. Clearly I need to share this kind of stuff more often. So all right, so you can see the cool veining. They are embossed and die cut. So let's go ahead and look at this. This one's pretty as it is, but this one I want to add some extra to. I want to give it a little bit more definition, and so I'm going to go ahead and set it on here just to like keep my ink off of things. And this is where the blending brushes come in. Now, you could sponge daub in this, but a better choice to get smooth color is to use a blending brush. So just swirl on the ink pad to pick up ink, and then I'm going to swirl on the edges of this mostly. Remember, with blending brushes, you are not like trying to apply all the color at one time. Don't harder is not better. I am working to just pick up more ink and apply more ink, and I'm turning kind of as we go. And I am brushing in circles so that I get an even smooth application of this, okay? So you can kind of see how that's coming together. And then I want to add some darker. So I'm gonna use the crumb cake here, the medium. You could use the dark. And I'm gonna use my blending brush a different way. So this time, instead of blending on the leaf, I'm going to draw my brush from off the leaf onto the leaf. And you can see here, I'll show you before I do more. Let's see, I'll get it a little darker. You can see here the difference. So between this side of the leaf and this side of the leaf, see how the edge is so much more defined? You can kind of see there with that extra technique. So think sometimes about whether you really want to use the sort of that round brush technique, or whether you would be better off to do the edge brush technique. Okay, so that just from our plain cardstock, you can see is really pretty different, and I love how it gets into the veins there and helps them to pop out just a little bit more. Okay, all right. So let's bring our leaf back here. I'm going to pop this here on the end. I'm going to stick a Stampin' Dimensional on it. And then we are going to layer here our pretty metallic leaf also. So let's add, I'm just going to put another dimensional on that. Why not? And then we need an accent for this. So we've got our metallic shine. So we're going to add a bow. So like this with our sort of tied on nothing bows, I call them. So let me show you what you need to do this. So this is about 6 inches of the linen thread. If you are getting your linen thread out for the first time, you have one of these newer roll ones. It has this like curly Q thing to it. If you want to have straight, what you want to do is just take that, pinch it between your thumbnail and your finger, and just gently draw it out between there and see how, well, okay, watch, it didn't straighten very much. I guess do a little bit more. See how much straighter that is there, the part that I straightened versus the part that is fresh off the roll, okay? So you can kind of straighten that out. Don't worry that it comes on a roll, it's all rolled and you can't have a straight version. All right, so to tie this bow, take a little loop, pinch it between your first finger and your thumb, wrap around the loop, and then bring that loop, bring a portion of the thread back up through the loop that you've just created, and that will make your cute little bow, okay? I really like it when the loops are small. It gives you a nice in-scale version, okay? So let's use our mini glue dots here. I am going to do sort of a burrito taquito roll version of them. There are a number of ways to attach this. You could use your multi-purpose liquid glue, always a good choice. I'm just going to use this because it's quick. And that is going to pop there on our card. Okay, so now we have our bird. We need something for the inside though. And I have, again, that second sheet of Very Vanilla that matches. And this time, I mean, I could stamp another bird or another branch or the sort of smudge background, but instead I'm gonna bring in this Forever Fern, which like I said, is an all-purpose, just always good to have on hand kind of greenery set. And I'm gonna go ahead and, let's see, there we go. Pull this one up and I'm just gonna stamp this leaf here at the corner of our card. I didn't get a very good stamp there, probably because my block should be one size bigger. Wonderful thing about Stampin' Up cardstock, you can always flip it to the back side and stamp again. So there we go. And now I'm going to layer these two together because why not add that extra little accent on the inside that we put on the front. And then I'm not gonna use Stampin' Dimensionals, I'm just gonna layer this here inside our card. Then of course, you also want to go ahead and stamp on your envelope. Since you have your stamps out, why wouldn't you? And I'm going to go ahead and pop that branch on there, okay? You can also do like a blending brush technique. I'll throw this one in. I'm gonna use the darker, so I'm gonna ink this here with my So Saffron ink, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit of the Early Espresso, and then I'm gonna just sort of tip the leaves here by tapping on them. I'm gonna do the stem too. Okay, so now that is a little bit blended, and then I'll put this version on the back of our envelope here. I'll put it here so you can kind of see what that looks like. Okay, so there's sort of the multicolor version and the other. We used to do a technique called rock and roll where you would ink this in your lighter color and then you would sort of rock and roll, like sort of you're rocking and applying just the edges of the stamp to the ink pad. The trick with that now is that these foam pads are so amazing at like inking stuff that you get a really sharp line between the two. So I really love using the blending brushes instead for sort of softening that intersection between those two colors. So there is this version of our card. Let me bring in the other version, which is just vaguely different colors, but still very fall-ish, fall and winter. And this one was the no coloring in version, okay? So here's the one we colored in with our sponge daubers and our blending brushes. This is the one that's just stamped plain, and I didn't even die cut the bird. So this is sort of a quick version of it. So if you wanted to use some of these Christmassy words here to do something like this as a Christmas card, it is a great choice. And then this is a really fun way to get that sort of same effect, same shape, but without the extra time and precision and so forth of coloring the bird and die cutting it. So, all right. Well, I apologize there for the blip in the 2 videos. So if you're watching on Facebook, you watch 1 and then you hopefully switched over to 2. If you're watching later on YouTube, I probably stitched them together for you. So it's all 1 video. And if not, if it's 2 parts, then hey, this was part 2. So apologies for that, but today's Thursday and I will be back on Tuesday with another Maker Mornings with Meg. I think is Tuesday November 1st or is it October 31st? I think it's November 1st. Anyway, I'll be back on next Tuesday with another Maker Mornings with Meg project. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Think warm thoughts of me. I am backpacking in central Illinois with a bunch of scouts, so that'll be fun. And I look forward to that. So see you soon. Have a wonderful weekend and hope you are excited about these really cute little birds and lots of different choices for how to color them. So thanks for watching, guys. Happy stamping.